Welcome to our first vlog for everyone out there in YouTube land. We've actually got ourselves in the studio with a camera, and we're going to have a quick chat about the NFL to give you guys just a little preview of what it is we do here at Third Down Under.
This is our first vodcast ever.
Vodcast, vlog, whatever you want to call it.
This is where LT says things wrong and I correct him.
It never happens that way. Stokesy always says something stupid.
LT has his habit of thinking he knows football and he knows nothing.
I've lost my sheet.
He has no sheet.
All that work and I've lost my sheet.
That's because you are an absolute amateur.
Anyway, so we're two Aussie blokes. We like to watch a little bit of American football.
Football.
And we like to have a chat about it. And we're both, opinionated.
Well, I'm opinionated.
Would that be a good way to talk about it? So look, if you want to follow us, we'll get all the annotations and stuff on the screen and descriptions in the link to see what we're about at Third Down Under. So first question for you, Stokes Meister.
Go, bring it.
John Elway's come out today and said Tim Tebow.
John Elway came out.
He came out.
Ah, right.
Don't tell anyone.
I didn't know he was that way inclined.
John Elway said to the media today.
You said it. John
you
Elway came out.
Said to the media
YouTube
that Tim Tebow will be a Bronco next year. Is he the future for the Broncos?
I think it's a mistake. Look, I think he's going to be around next season. He's signed. His contract runs to 2013, so he's going to be a Bronco next year anyway.
Yep.
You know, it's a smart thing for Elway to say, because if they decide they want to trade him next season, which is a possibility, you know, at least he's going to get some sort of trade value. If he comes out and says Tebow's not part of our plans for next year, we're going in a different direction, you're going to draft a quarterback in the draft.
But he didn't actually say.
How do you trade him?
Tim Tebow's going to be a quarterback next year.
Well, no, he didn't have to.
He said Tim Tebow's going to be a Bronco next year. Maybe they'll make the switch to fullback.
Well, he'd be a waste at running back, I think.
Look, the guy's 7-2.
If he keeps winning. But the thing is, they haven't really played anyone with a winning record until, obviously, the Patriots, and the Patriots handed their butt to them. So,
yeah, but that was through, a couple of mistakes. Any team would have lost that game.
Yeah, look,
I don't know, we'll see down the stretch if they make the playoffs.
I think he'll get another season in the sun. Don't get me wrong. I think the Broncos will stick with him, but don't be surprised if the Broncos take a quarterback in the draft.
Maybe they can pick a quarterback and have Tebow give him a full season.
Because you don't want to be going into the season with Tebow as your starting quarterback and no backup behind him, because the way he plays, he's going to get hurt eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Well, I mean, maybe it's a Blaine Gabbert type situation where they start Tim Tebow for a couple of weeks next season. Look, he may make the playoffs and actually take the team for a run in the playoffs and then make the Super Bowl.
Yeah, look, I
definitely have him making the playoffs. So
he has talent. I don't think Denver make the playoffs, but I've already said the Chargers are going to be the team to make it.
I think they've just left their run too late.
Yeah, maybe.
But we'll see. All right, question number 2: Alex Smith, legit quarterback? Yes or no?
Give me one more year. Give me one more year of his play right now,
Look, the guy,
and then I'll believe.
The guy's a first-round draft pick.
Yep, number 1 pick overall.
Number 1 pick overall.
Yep.
Now, look, I understand he's had his problems with his offensive coordinators, and it's taken, 6 or 7. It's taken one to finally say, listen, I'll sit you down, I'll take you under my wing, I'll make sure that everything's all right, and I'll give you the confidence you need. And look, I respect all of that. Decent stats this year, 16 TDs, 5 picks, over about 3,000-odd yards. So, look, doing what he has to do to be a quarterback. But my problem with him is their red zone offense is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think he's like 28th or 29th in the league in offensive red zone scoring. Something like 20%.
Yep.
Third down conversions, he's the worst quarterback in the league for third down conversions. They're the things for me that the elite quarterbacks have down pat that he just doesn't. And I don't know if he ever will.
See, I think the difference for Alex Smith right now, obviously the coaching is astronomically better for him than Mike Singletary was. And don't get me wrong, Singletary's a great Hall of Fame player, but he's a linebacker, he's a D guy, doesn't know how to handle quarterbacks. The amount of chopping and changing that they had in the quarterback position last year, and it's amazing, considering it's pretty much the same roster this year, what Harbaugh's been able to do with the crew that he has.
Yep.
However, Alex Smith, getting back to your question, Alex Smith really hasn't had to get them out of jail a lot. That defense, to me, is the story in the 49ers season. That defense hasn't allowed a rushing touchdown the whole season. That is an amazing statistic.
Run game and defense. Their front seven is
Unbelievable.
phenomenal, and that's what's got them to the
And
record that they are.
Alex Smith hasn't had to throw 40, 50 times a game to get him out of a jam.
No.
Now, until I see him in the clutch, have to pull a game out on his arm, and the defense
won't
knowing
believe
he's
it.
got to throw it,
Yep.
then I'll probably start to turn and believe. But at the moment, look, it's a great story. I wish Alex Smith all the luck in the world because the amount of turmoil that kid's gone through, and the fact that he's come out the other side now and they're going to go to the playoffs. Look, it's a great story for him and great job by him to manage the offense. But
Well, that's all he is. He's
for
just a
me-
management guy.
yeah, for me, the jury's still out for me until I see him win a game where they rely on his arm to get him out of
There was a
jam.
couple of balls in that Pittsburgh game where he missed wide open receivers.
Yeah.
Receivers that were in the end zone, receivers that all he had to do was drop it in with a little bit of touch, and he didn't.
Well,
The same bad throws,
I disagree.
the same bad throws that Tim Tebow was making.
I disagree. The first play, the pass that he threw in the end zone and it went behind that receiver, the receiver didn't stop. If he threw it to where the receiver was going to be, it would have been a pick. There was a safety right there. He threw it to the open spot and the receiver kept running. That's on the receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah,
And
there was a streak down the sideline.
there was one over the middle in the end zone. That was the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, there was a streak down the sideline where the receiver was wide open. He just
Oh,
overthrew.
Romo misses him as well, doesn't he? And the other one was
That was Miles
The other one
Austin's
was
fault,
Gore.
not Tony Romo's fault.
Gore out in the flat, right?
Yep.
Well, he had to throw it wide because Polamalu jumped right up in front of him. So, look, there was two balls there that they only just missed. But if Alex Smith of old would have thrown it right into Polamalu's hands.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's become a ball control guy. I
Yeah.
get that. But you can't miss wide open receivers in the end zone. You know.
Well, you can if the receiver keeps running into coverage.
No, there was... Go home and watch the highlights. There was a play where the wide receiver was down the sideline, had the corner beaten by 3 steps. All Alex Smith had to do was drop it into his basket, and he didn't.
Oh, well,
Mistakes at Tim Tebow. Look, Tim Tebow doesn't throw picks either.
I don't think you can compare Alex Smith to Tim Tebow.
I think you can.
No, you
I
can't.
think they're on similar
They're
levels.
totally different quarterbacks in totally different situations.
I think they're in similar levels. Tim Tebow passed well on the weekend.
Right.
He looked like a proper quarterback. And the fact that you're even comparing those two to Tony Romo shows you how little you know
Well,
about
Romo missed
quarterbacks.
the same type of play, didn't he?
To
So did
Miles
Carson-
Austin that was running at 75%.
So did Carson Palmer.
Carson
Palmer
Palmer's-
missed an open
Carson
receiver
Palmer's
as well.
not as good a quarterback as Tony Romo.
On third down when they needed to keep the ball to win the ball game.
Tony Romo is a better quarterback than all of them. Tony Romo
Yes,
is a
I agree.
top 5 quarterback.
I agree.
Good.
But they all make mistakes, don't they?
The good ones don't. I
Yeah.
very rarely see Tom Brady make a mistake.
You
I
know
very,
who-
very rarely see
You know
Rodgers
who,
make a
in
mistake.
my opinion, who the best long ball thrower is in the NFL right now?
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Please. Phillip Rivers.
Yeah, Rivers is
Phillip
good.
Rivers, honestly, when he can throw a rainbow and
The only
drop it in a
problem with
bucket.
the only problem with Rivers' season this year is he's tended to throw to the other team instead of his own.
Well, he's had protection issues.
But look, they're coming home with a wet sail, so I wouldn't be surprised if they finish second in that division behind the Broncos.
Look, I think if Alex Smith, in the answer to your question, if Alex Smith stays in the second year in this offense,
under
he's going to get some
Harbaugh, I think he'll.
continuity.
Yep.
I think he'll blossom next season.
He needs a receiver though. What happened to Braylon Edwards? He
Yeah,
disappeared.
injured.
Crabtree's garbage.
Crabtree's played well in the second half of this season.
He's garbage.
Well, he's leading them in receptions.
They need a decent receiver. They need to go out. Look, Vernon Davis is a beast. Frank Gore's a beast. They need a receiver.
Well, no, if they go down the Patriots road, they just need another tight end, don't they?
Joe, or a second good tight end.
Who needs receivers?
Bloody Patriots. I hate them. All right, the third question, probably the biggest game of the week, the New York Giants versus the New York Jets. What do you think, first of all, about Ryan coming out and saying that he desperately needs to win so that his team is the most respected in New York, and the big rant he went on? And second of all, how do you think the game will go down?
Look, it's one of those rare times in NFL football, especially this late in the season, where two teams are both just as desperate to make the playoffs.
From the same city.
And they're from the same city playing in a shared venue. Like, it's a bit of a perfect storm, really. I've been looking forward to this game now for a couple of weeks.
Yep.
Because it's not only bragging rights, but whoever wins it gets
More or
in the
less.
driver's seat of
Yep,
getting
more or
into the
less makes the
playoffs.
playoffs.
So,
And look, if either team loses, as far as I'm concerned, that's it for their season as well. So, look, I think the Ryan thing, I think all he's doing is bringing attention away from the fact that they were pretty soundly beaten last week and they looked pretty ordinary.
yeah. They're such a weird team, the
But
Jets.
it's one of the things I like about him. Whenever his team is in trouble, he makes it about him. And I know that sounds sort of egotistical and bad, but he takes the attention off the fact that they're not playing well and says, everyone pile attention onto me, you know what I mean? And I think, especially in New York, with New York's media, they hammer a team. When a team's not doing well in New York, they go after him. So I like the fact that he becomes the focal point so that people stop talking about how poorly they played. But for me, the big story about the Jets this year is I don't think Sean Green has ever really been the running back that everyone expected him to be.
Everyone's been waiting for him to really get going, haven't they?
It's been 3+ seasons now of everyone saying, you wait, he's going to look good. And last year, look, LT was still a driving force in that offense, whereas he's sort of taken a backward step. They've relied more on Sean Green, and they just haven't been able to make it happen. So
it's the sad thing about it is the Jets really, their formula for success for the last couple of years is to play sound defense and run the football, and not make Sanchez win the ball game for them. And of late, they've had to rely on Sanchez's arm to get him out of trouble
because Sean Green hasn't done the job.
The Plaxico has played in the last 4 weeks. Has played out of his skin. He's really come on, and
lights out.
People are forgetting the fact that he was in jail for 2 years. But you know what I mean. It's look, the Jets to me, they're the favourite in my opinion. I think the Jets come in though a bit more talented. They got their defense is a little bit more dynamic at the moment than the Giants are.
Yep.
And the Giants, their pass rush.
I don't know what's happened to the Giants front seven.
They've got some youth on there. Jason Pierre-Paul, great player, but he's prone to mistakes. He's only played football since college. So,
look, if that front seven all comes together, they're one of the best defenses in the league.
Definitely.
But for some reason, it just hasn't happened this year. It's the same personnel as well. I just don't get it. I don't understand.
Look, I like the Jets in this game. I think the Giants probably not as talented. I think the Jets have a bit more riding on it. Even though I know the Giants have Dallas and the Eagles breathing down their neck. But look, I just like the Jets in this one. I think the Jets probably win it by a touchdown.
If it comes down to a quarterback battle, Eli Manning will shit on Mark Sanchez because Sanchez is garbage.
Thing is, Sanchez is streaky. If he gets on a roll, he'll complete 10 or 15 in a row, and then he'll disappear for 6 or 7
3
throws.
picks in a row. Yeah.
But what Eli are we going to get? Are we going to get Eli from last week that throws picks, like Happy Birthday, Merry Christmas? Or are we going to get good Eli?
When the game's on the line, Eli Manning looks better than in a game that means nothing. And as far as I'm concerned, the game last week, they just come off the big win against Dallas. They were probably emotionally drained, and that game really meant, they were playing against a lesser opposition in Washington that they probably should have won. So I think they went into it with the wrong attitude. I think they'll go into this game, feeling a lot better about themselves. Look, and if you're in a fantasy league and you've got Victor Cruz,
go and
start him because Nix will be in Hicks. Will be
Nix.
in Nix.
Hakeem Nicks.
That's him. Hakeem Nicks will be in press coverage against on Revis Island all week, so I think Victor Cruz will get a whole lot of touches. And look, Ahmad Bradshaw is starting to come back to where he was. So if they can get that ground game going, they've got a chance. But I think I'm with you. I think the Jets.
You go Jets as well.
It's just this is their time of year.
Yeah, I just think the Jets will find a way. I think.
Yeah, I think
the Giants just can't run the football at the moment, and especially against that Jets front, I don't see it happening this week either. Anyway, there you go.
So there it is. 3 quick ones. Like I said, we'll look, if you jump on our website, which is turdownunder.podbean.com, you can get all of our podcasts, which normally last
about an hour and a bit,
substantially longer than this little bit.
Minutes.
But we'll try to keep the vlogging up so that you guys can, see what we look like, how animated we get in the studio, and all the rest of it.
And if you're in your fantasy Super Bowl this weekend, good luck. Make sure you start all your best bench players, and hope you get the maximum amount of points that you can get from your team this week.
So thanks for listening.
Thanks for watching.
Or whatever it is that you're doing.
All right, enjoy the NFL this weekend. See you later.
Go you Dolphins.
Go you Falcons.